Capricorn, it feels like you are breaking new ground, or at least that's the energy I am getting with the cards that I pulled for you just a moment ago. I pulled some animal cards. We will get into the tarot in just a moment, but I really want to kind of set a foundation for this reading, and it might also help you figure out if this is a reading that is meant for you at this time, or something that should be left behind for somebody else. Above all, I really encourage you to trust your own intuition and discernment here. I was also hearing the phrase companion while I was connecting with your energy, which was quite interesting. This doesn't necessarily feel like it's about the emotion of a relationship. It's almost more about the earthly, practical matters. Do we have similar goals? Are we collaborating? Are we supporting each other if our goals are different? It feels like that kind of relationship is really important, regardless of how that manifests for you, whether this is a romantic partner, a family member, a friend, or whatever. It feels like there is this need to have a companion right now, or maybe there is a companion relationship that is coming in. It could also kind of indicate to me that maybe some of you are going through your relationships right now and really asking yourself, is this a supportive relationship? Is there a companionship that is here? So that's something that might be kind of a theme as well. So with the animal cards, I did get the earthworm. And this was the first card that I pulled. I got 3. And I felt very excited for you because I think of fertile ground with the earthworm. So whatever is happening right now, there is something that feels very promising. There's potential here, but you're also feeling a little bit exposed. And maybe even a little bit rusty at something. It does feel very tied to kind of earthly things. So maybe things like a new job or a new course of study, a new project. And for some reason, you're kind of almost having like a little bit of imposter syndrome. You're afraid to speak up. You're afraid to really kind of express your experience or your perspective here. For some reason, there is a hesitancy about this new sort of chapter. This could also represent a new sense of self. Maybe you're coming into a new version of yourself, or you're growing into a new version of yourself. And again, this feels quite promising, but there's almost this kind of like wobbliness to it. Can I really lean into this? Is now really the right time? But with the other animals I got, I really do feel like you're actually looking quite good and quite capable on the outside. So if you're feeling a bit insecure, I don't think that's really coming across. At least other people are seeing you as quite capable and maybe even graceful and beautiful with the gazelle. Gazelle is a beautiful animal, very attuned to its surroundings, but it can also kind of border onto hypervigilance. And so you might be very hyper aware, very kind of cognizant of what needs to be done. I just don't want you to overthink it or panic. And the gazelle here, especially in this image, is actually quite calm. It's quite grounded, and it does that by feeling secure, being in a comfortable place, feeding yourself, taking care of yourself. That is very important with this card. Anything that is going to ground your nervous system right now is going to be especially helpful for you. But again, I feel like you just have this sort of allure or magnetism, and perhaps this is even where this companion is coming into play right now. I did also get the horse card, and this feels very significant to me because, again, it's like you are going towards something with a lot of focus and determination and energy. You are kind of taking charge. This almost gives me the chariot energy from the major arcana. And I really get a sense of you, again, moving in a very promising direction. It's just kind of a matter of taking those steps and kind of trusting in the process and trusting in yourself. And I really get a strong sense of your capability here. So don't doubt yourself, Capricorn. You are more powerful than you know, at least right now. So those are the messages so far. I'm really curious to get into the tarot for you. And as I'm shuffling, I'm going to give my typical spiel that these are general readings, meaning not all the messages that come forward are necessarily going to be meant for you. Again, it is up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your own life and how, or if it just should be left behind for somebody else. I do have links in the description of this video as well for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you can book that on my website. I also have all of my other social media accounts now. And I do just want to also thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. If you haven't done so already, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe and bell notification because I may very well be rebranding soon, and that way you can definitely be sure to stay in the know with what's in the cards for you. So I think that's everything. What are the messages that we have for Capricorn? And maybe even taking a moment to kind of pause this video, really check in with yourself, your higher guidance, to know what is meant for you at this time. What are the messages for Capricorn? I'm feeling like I just need to start pulling here. Bottom of the deck, I see the Chariot, which is exactly the card I was just speaking about with the horse animal. This is very much about taking charge. It is about taking action and doing so with a lot of determination, but also willpower. So you might honestly be in some resistance or again, like kind of an imposter syndrome or second guessing yourself. It's important that you just take action and that you move and trust that you will learn as you go. And deal with things head on, you know? It's almost like the more you let things linger, the more this anxiety, the more this hypervigilance can fester. So if there's things that you're putting off right now, Capricorn, don't do that. Get to it, just do it. I know how that goes. Sometimes I take quite a bit of time between these videos. Getting on camera can feel a little bit like, how do I do this again? So, you know, thank you for your patience and understanding with me as I'm kind of giving you these messages. Wow, I just got a bunch of cards that came out, and I'm actually going to keep all of them because I feel like this is the spread that I'm looking for here. The first card that came out for the past is the Tower. And so it feels like you have come out of a period of dramatic transformation, major endings, and perhaps even having your foundation rocked in some really big way. So when I see the Tower, this is things like losing a job, losing a home, divorce, like some sort of major change that affects you kind of on a very foundational level. And it's a change that needed to happen for a while too. I will just say that is part of the Tower as well. I am also looking at this Tower very closely, and I'm being drawn to the mask on this figure. So there has been kind of an unmasking or a reveal that has been going on for you. Maybe you have become a more authentic version of yourself. You have put down a mask, and you might not have known what was even on that other side. Maybe that was the thing that was kind of the shocking, scary change, so to speak, with the Tower. But it felt like it was necessary. It feels like there was a lot of growth that has come from this change or this transition. Might not have been easy, especially if you're just kind of getting on your feet now, which I'm sort of getting, but I want to look at these other cards that came out. Beautiful. Okay. Interesting. So I feel like you're getting out of an impulsive energy. I'm just going to kind of say that. I do have the King of Wands coming in as sort of the challenge, or not the challenge, what you have learned from the past. And this is very much about kind of taking control of your passion, taking control of your energy. I did get the Empress here as well. So maybe this is about financial things, your creativity, but doing this in a very productive way. Okay? And I don't feel like the thing that's happening right now is very sudden and fast growth. You're innovating something, and that's taking time. I say that because we do have the Eight of Wands in reverse. And that's kind of why I feel like it's important to take things kind of slowly and in a very steady way. Even though the Chariot is here, it's about the control. Because maybe in the past you just did things without thinking. You were kind of just going through the motions, or maybe even just acting very impulsively. You're doing things in a totally different way. You're approaching things in a totally different way, and that could also involve relationships, but I feel like this is kind of about your life overall. I do also have the Temperance card here as the change or the challenge. And that is why I'm really feeling like something is taking more time than you expected it to, or than you even hoped it to. And there is this need to kind of come into a balance. Especially if there's kind of been this all or nothing mentality in the past. There is a need to come into congruence. I do have the Ace of Wands in reverse in the future as well, which could sort of indicate feeling a burnout. Yeah, you know, I feel like some of you have been in burnout for a while. And even though this is in reverse, all of these cards came out at once. I almost want to flip this upright. Like, you're getting your spark back. You're stoking your fire again. And it might be something that you kind of just have to, like, decide to do. Let me clarify. Why is the Ace of Wands here for the future? What does this mean for Capricorn? That came out very quickly. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So this is definitely about getting out of your head. And some of you have a tendency to overthink things or overplan things. And it can almost take the wind out of your sails before you even begin. Especially with the World in reverse. You know, I was getting this kind of Virgo energy earlier when I was thinking of kind of making slow, steady progress towards something. But it almost feels like there is this perfectionism that is on the table here. Now is the perfect moment. There's no moment like the present to act. And I'm also getting the expression, take the risk or miss the chance. Which is like, do something even if you don't feel 100% ready for it, or accept that you're going to miss an opportunity. And I'm really feeling it's more like the former for this group, if I'm being completely honest, because I feel like some of you have missed out on opportunities in the past, or you might be blocking new opportunities for you in the future if you are stuck in your head. Especially with the King of Wands and the Empress. This is about being very practical, very controlled, and doing things in a very, very practical, grounded way. But it is about acting. Don't overthink this, just do this. Is there anything else here with this message? Because I am curious about this companion I was getting. The Eight of Cups. Yeah, this feels like you are seeking your happiness elsewhere. You might need to leave something behind, or walk away from something that once brought you joy because it's kind of an empty or hollow thing right now. Again, this feels more about work. And it kind of feels like you're taking progress towards something else. Maybe even finding something in between right now. But you are in transition. And I will say on the other side of the Eight of Cups is the Nine and Ten of Cups. There is happiness. There is fulfillment. Maybe that's the thing that changed with the Tower. It's like something fundamentally changed about you, Capricorn, and it's almost like there's no going back to the way you were doing things before. You have to do things in a brand new way. That's the breaking the new ground. And I don't want that to fill you with dread. I never want these readings to make anyone anxious or depressed. I'm simply trying to capture things that might be a struggle or a blockage in your life so you can name them and better understand them and work with them. So it feels like there is something here that you need to do in a very different way and just kind of take control of things. And it might feel a little unnatural at first. But I do ultimately feel like you are moving in a different direction, regardless. Tell me what else. What's going on with a companion? Why is companion here? Why is there something with companion? Is there anything going on in relationships for this crew? We have Judgment. So there could be some big decisions that you're making, or honestly, even just a reevaluation. That is often what Judgment represents, is this sort of reevaluatory period. There could be things coming back from the past as well, but I feel like this is more about a review. If there's been conversations you've been afraid of having or avoiding, just have them. I think a tendency to overthink in your life right now, Capricorn, is potentially making things seem worse than they actually are. And it's making you feel more stuck. Interesting. I'm intrigued. I have Death in reverse and the Nine of Wands. It really feels like you've been fighting to delay an ending of some kind. Maybe this is part of the Tower in the past. Was this person a companion to you or not? I really feel like there's a thing right now about you kind of just taking stock of relationships, and it's not even necessarily about how they make you feel. If I could be completely honest, it's you looking at them from a perspective of, is this a relationship that is working for me or not? And for some of you, it feels like there could be someone who is, you are deciding you don't want to have in your life anymore or put as much energy in anymore. I did just see the Five of Pentacles while I was shuffling, so it could be someone who has kind of left you out in the cold, so to speak, someone who made you feel abandoned. I feel like you are closing out a cycle there. And maybe that's even just like a pattern in relationships that might not even be about one particular person. Anything else for Capricorn? Anything else for Capricorn? Yeah, because I feel like there is someone who wants to support you with the Six of Pentacles. There is someone who wants to give you something or offer you something or at least support you in some way. And it might be up to you to also change the pattern for yourself as well, and to allow yourself to receive that. Maybe some of you are giving it. Maybe some of you are supporting someone who's going through a hard time or needing to end a cycle. That could also be a way I could interpret this too. Yeah, because I do feel like there is a strong bond with strength here. And it's very controlled. There's a lot of composure. This isn't about yelling or fighting or struggling. It feels like you're taking control in a lot of areas of your life right now, Capricorn, which is kind of interesting. Astrologically, at the time of this reading, this is a timeless reading, so don't overthink this if it is later than May 2025. At least at this time, Saturn has just moved into Aries, which is your 10th house of career and public image. And so naturally, there is something that you're taking more seriously in your life, particularly with the role that you fill in the world at large. There may be some need to focus or to really discipline yourself in this area of your life. And for some reason, I feel like there is someone who is helping you do this, helping you focus, or you're helping each other even. Yeah, Knight of Cups, I really do feel that. And there could be an emotional connection here, but it's like finding a flow again. Finding relationships that flow and that just work without necessarily needing to put a whole lot of effort or energy. And that's not to say that relationships don't ever require maintenance or they don't require some amount of effort. But if there's like just a battle just to stay together, or you're kind of justifying in yourself or battling yourself to stay in a relationship, you kind of know that like that's something to sort of let go of. So I think there's just a lot of discernment that's happening in your relationships in your life right now. But overall, I feel like you are kind of moving in a different direction. You are moving somewhere new, and like maybe you are still in this sort of transitional period, and it's like, wait, I thought I was done with the change, I thought I was done with the transformation, but there may still be some unexpected turns. You might be surprising yourself with some of the things you are deciding to do or the direction you decide to go in. So just be very, very open, especially as it comes to your life path. I feel like some of you really are kind of in a transitional period with vocation or the role that you fill in your life. And I think those are all the messages that I have for you at this time. I do hope that this was helpful, Capricorn. Definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe if you've made it this far. Comment, what should we comment? Maybe the horse emoji or something to just kind of indicate that sort of taking charge for you, that fire, that will, that composure. That discipline, because I do feel like it is a bit of a marathon now rather than a race. So use your energy wisely. And I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way, Capricorn. Again, all of my links are in the description of this video. I will see you next time. Take care.